Okay, in this video we're going to demonstrate how to set compensation and scales. In this dataset, which I have open in two separate browser tabs, which will help me a lot in just a second here, we have 8 files, and these files are split into two groups with 4 files each, corresponding to 2 different compensations that we need to apply. So to get started, what I'm going to do is create a workflow. And in this workflow, I'll get started by adding a compensation task. You can see that we automatically parse out compensation matrices that are inside FCS files. We've assigned them based on 2 different groups that we detected. We'll leave these for now and set up our scales, because we're not going to be able to visualize our compensation without setting scales. For the scales, what I'll do is just apply a simple heuristic. There's no need to verify anything right now. We could if we wanted to, but we're about to do that shortly using the figure. So we'll save this and move on. And lastly, we'll set up a figure. And the figure really can be whatever you want it to be, using overlays or density scatter plots or what have you. We'll just show a quick example using density scatter. So because we're going to want to fit a few plots here, we'll lower the resolution a bit. And what we'll do is take this original plot and permute it first by fluorescent channels of interest to us. We'll actually remove that plot, select these, and we'll change the y-axis to a fluorescent channel. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing in the other direction. So we'll create more rows from this row. And now we're looking at basically a pairwise plot scenario. And I'll delete away the ones that don't really matter in this case. Okay, so we'll save this. What I'm going to do is actually navigate to this page in my other browser tab. We'll use that as a reference. Now I have the figure set up in one browser tab, and in the other browser tab I'm going to set up my compensation. And now in this view, any change that I make to my compensation will instantly be reflected here across the plots that I've chosen. And we can optimize how we see fit. We can also change the group that we're looking at. However, depending on what group we're looking at, depending on what information we have present here, we might have to do things like change the file that we're looking at. You can see that the structure of the workflow that we set up was very important, because we're running our compensation through scaling and then visualizing it in the figure. If we had gone into scaling and actually turned off our scales, reverting them to what they used to be before, which is applying nothing, and we open this figure, you'll see that our data aren't very useful for looking at, because those scales are very important for actually visualizing the data.